Okay, today's vlog part 3. It is
2:04 p.m. and 27.
2:04. My goal is to get out of here by 2:30. Let's see if I can do it. I want to either finish this vlog or at least finish this set of thoughts, and then order an Uber to go to the Mac store, which shouldn't cost that much. It's like, not the Mac store. It used to be called the Mac store. Now it's called Simply Mac. I want to get an Uber to Simply Mac, which is not very far away. If I was able to orient myself to the point where I could walk from my apartment to places that were in walking distance, I might just think about trying to walk it. But I can't, and so I won't. But it should be a very short Uber ride. I want to take my iPod, my MacBook in, just in case I need a computer that's not one of the store's computers, and figure out what it's going to take to free up some space on that bloody iPod so that I can record more videos until such time as I can afford a $400 Big A iPod. So anyway, where was I? I was saying that at 23, when I left my family's house and started the process of really finding myself, the process that most teenagers start at 11, 12, 13. I started about 10 years later, just because of the way my life fell into place. But when I went to that center for the blind, that residential center for the blind, it would have been helpful if that would have been one of my first books. Now, of course, that Center for the Blind experience was 12 years ago, and if you would have asked me, God, has it been that long already? If you would have asked me, well, what did you read in Braille class? First of all, I don't know if I ever actually read a book from cover to cover. I dabbled in various books, but I don't know if I actually read a book from cover to cover. Secondly, I can't even remember what I read. In fact, that was really annoying because I was on the National Library Service Braille and audio reading downloads, or whatever BARD stands for, trying to find a book that I had found back when you got Braille versions of, or back when you got Braille books off the internet by what was called web Braille back in the day. And since I didn't remember, I knew I knew what it was about, but I didn't remember what it was called, who wrote it. Based on the searches that I was trying to do, I could not find it anywhere. Either it was taken out of NLS, or more likely, I don't know what I'm looking for when I try to look. So, I'll just have to hope that somehow I can figure out what that was again. But in the meantime, it would have been helpful if at that point I would have read this book that I have recently found about how to not move back in with your parents, how to handle your money, how to be a good money manager and not end up where I keep finding myself. Making it but barely, and honestly not really where I want to be. And that's as many details as I'm going to get into, because although I don't expect certain someone to watch these, there's nothing to stop certain someone from watching these. And if certain someone knew what I'm not saying here, certain someone would... Never mind, I'll just say it would... To avoid having that conversation I don't want to have, I'm just going to stop right there. But, I'm 16 to 18 years older than they probably wish I would have been when I read this, but better late than never, I guess. It's never too late to turn that around, I guess. Meaning it's never too late to turn around. It's never too late to learn how to get out of cycles that you don't like to be in when you're still in them, and keep finding yourself in them, and every time you get out of them, you just go right back into them again. It's never too late to get out of those cycles once and for all, and if the secrets are in this book, then I need to read this book and embrace what's said, and hopefully, today's the first day of the rest of our lives. That's cliched, but, in some cases, like this one, it's true. And if I was going to say other stuff, I'm not really remembering what I was going to say, so I'm going to call this the end of this video, and whether this is going to be the end of this vlog or there's going to be a part 4, I don't know. But there might be a part 4 just when I talk about the experience at the Mac store. And see, when I learn iMovie, I will still be constrained by the downloading or uploading, by the rules set forth in YouTube about, if that's a 45-minute video, well, you're only allowed to have 15-minute uploads at a time, or whatever the maximum number is at this point. Okay, well, then I may have to divide it up because it ultimately ends up being too long, and there may have to be a part 1, part 2, because 14 minutes worth of recording time on part 1 and 5 minutes on part 2 comes to 19 minutes worth. But the difference between that and this is, now here I've created 3 parts, which, part 1 and part 2 could have been spliced together, and it would have hit the 13-minute, 45-second mark. That could have gone up, and then the rest of it could have gone up. One of these days, that'll happen. I'll get the hang of iMovie, or I'll figure out how to work around the problems that I'm having. Oh, one other thing I'm going to say. As you probably have seen, I have kind of been going back and forth. At first I had, okay, we'll take today for an example. 3/4/16. I was doing 3/4/16. Then I noticed somebody doing 3/4/16, so I tried that. I think I'm going to go back to 3/4/16, because really, on an iPhone keyboard, on an iPhone touchscreen keyboard, the slash is closer to the numbers than the period. I thought the period would be easier, but it's not. Not if you're entering it on a touchscreen keyboard. Of course, I could do it on a Bluetooth keyboard, but anyway. Okay, I'm going to put an end to this randomness. It's 2:13. I could still get out of here. One last thing I need to take care of, and then I'm going to order this Uber. Well, I'm going to gather everything up. I've got almost everything gathered up, but got to put this one other thing in there. Order Uber, get out of here. So until next part, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far.